Okay, good evening all. Can you hear me well? Hello?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Yes, sure.
Okay, today we are going to study about the value creation in the digital economy. In the first session, I will give the lecture, and then in the second session, our classmate group number one, group number two will do the presentation. And today I will also give you this assignment, which is taken as a take-home exam for each of you to do. And I will collect your assignment on the 1st of May, and in the assignment, you will need to answer only 2 questions only. So hopefully you will get good mark for that. Okay, now let me start the presentation because today seems that it seems that our lesson is quite long. Can you see my slideshow now? Hello, can you see my slideshow now?
Yes, yes, sure. We can see.
Okay, good. Okay. This is the contents of the presentation today that we will be divided into 4 sections. One is the drivers of value creation. Second one is about a framework for assessing value in digital economy. The third one will be about channels for value creation in developing countries. And the last one will be about new paths for value addition, structural transformation, and development. So in the first section, it will which is related to drivers of value creation in digital economy will be divided into two subsections. The first one is about digital platform. The second one is about the central role of data and digital intelligence in the digital economy. Okay. So in the past, traditional economy value creation, or let's say that value creation in the traditional economic value model will be divided into three, which is because one is production, and then how those products and services are distributed in the market, and how we will use um how we what will we do with the earning that we got from production and distribution in the market. I mean, what is our reinvestment in that? In the traditional value economy, there are only three major actors, which include producers, they include manufacturers, and then consumers like us, and the government who will do the regulation or policy in order to um, support the market. However, in the new um, in the new business model of the digital economy, value creation is the right form to emerging and relating forces, which include platformization. Another one is data monetization. And of course, major actors still include producers, consumers, and the government in the new business model of the digital economy. However, in this new business model, digital platforms are also the central actors. And the key resource for economic processes is digital data. And if you ever wonder what digital data is created, just digital data partly created from what you post on, like what you post on the social media, including video or even the content that you write on your own walls. These are all digital contents. Okay, digital platform refers to mechanism that bringing together a set of parties to interact and set governance conditions for them. For example, on Facebook, they have their own policy system that we call this the governance that condition that they impose on us as a user, like we should not post like related to harassment or discrimination are not allowed, something like that. That the governance condition that's set by Facebook. Okay, and digital platform can be both intermediary or infrastructure, and I will explain you shortly. So, intermediaries here refer for the platform refer to the platform that connecting different group of peoples. For example, like Facebook, they connect users, advertisers, and developer on the same platform, right? And if we talk about Grab, it's connect between riders and driver. That's we call intermediaries. For infrastructure, platform, for like remember, like think about the Apple App Store. So user can develop use software developer, they can build app in the Apple's App Store, right? So this is what we call infrastructure platform. For both platform, I mean sometimes in some firms, especially like airports, can be their part of their business model can be about the platform. However, if you look at airport cases, the vast majority of airport's activity focus on selling high-end consumer goods like Apple Watch, like iPhone, etc. Now let's see the differences, characteristic of innovation and transaction platform. So, platform has been explored from a number of perspectives. However, there is an important distinction related to their underlying operation, which may be divided into two key categories. One is transaction platform, and another one is innovation platform. So innovation platform is just like it's a tool for building and growing ideas, just like the app developers developed an app and to launch it and to put it on Apple and iOS or Android. So let's see one by one. So in the transaction platform, the purpose of the transaction platform is to merge user or the user group together. Like Facebook merge the we as user and white advertiser, like LinkedIn link us between us as the one who how can I say as the one who posts about our update the CV or something about our careers, and also connect us with other company or other or those who would like to find the perfect candidate for their position. So this is the transaction platform. But innovation platform just like more likely is like an extensible code base as a core enabling adding the third-party module that complement the code. And let's say innovation platform is the platform that used for the programmer in order to how can I say, to launch and advertise the app. And for the key governance issue related to the transaction platform is about attracting users from relevant groups in the right or direct network, like WhatsApp, like Facebook, or some like Uber or Grab or something like that. However, innovation platform is about only the developer and platform owner only. Like Apple, iOS, and Android is just between the app developer and the owner of the Apple, iOS, and Android, not about the user like us. Okay, and if we talk about the developmental question, so the session is about the income or job opportunity, just like Grab, just like Uber, just like Facebook, which is created in order to improve the job opportunity, because like Facebook, e-commerce can launch their market over there. Grab or WhatsApp or Food Panda, people can earn money from that. Okay, so innovation platform similarly, they also about income or job income as well, but in the different kinds of way. Innovation app can say that it just creates the app economies, meaning that those kinds of platform is used as a tool to solve the local challenges. Let's say about you go to Apple iOS and you would like to download some game to improve your memory. So this is kind of the app that used in order to solve the problem, the challenges related to how to improve the memory. So what you post on Facebook is only about solely is about not really solve the man, of course solve the problem, but it's not really like exactly like the one that posts in this app. So it is quite different. If we talk about the extension of use, transaction platform is normally used by the no-code people like us, while the innovation platform is like the technical person. Okay, the example, if you still don't understand, you just see the example like WhatsApp, Skype, Airbnb, and Uber are the same platform. An innovation platform is about Apple, iOS, and Android. So it's more about the system and more about focus for the app developers. Okay, so now let's talk about the network effect. So whenever we talk about the network effect, it's more about the social media. So network effects are the key factor driving platform growth. It means that the benefit accruing to user of platform from additional user joining. So like the case of Facebook. So Facebook, when it was established in Cambodia, it's not. I mean, it's not. They cannot earn more attention as well as popularity or earn much profit. But because of more and more people in Cambodia start using Facebook, Facebook can earn more income from these kinds of things. So this is we call the effect of network effects. So network effects can be divided into two. One is direct network effects, and another one is indirect network effects. So direct network effects is the benefits to all users of the platform. Like for example, how can I say when you post something on Facebook, those who are your friend on Facebook will get the benefit. Like for example, you post an article about what like how to save money. So those kind of article, let's say that it benefit as a knowledge to all the friends or those who see your post. But in the network, for example, let's say about Airbnb. So of course, when you go to Airbnb in order to reserve an accommodation, you will need to pay, right? You either pay by debit card, your Visa card, or PayPal. So this one, so meaning that when the number of people who use Airbnb increase, it also translates that there's also the increased number of those people who use PayPal, Mastercard, or debit card. That's the indirect effect of network effect. However, okay, alongside the fact that network effect can driving the platform growth, but at the same time, it also generates lock-in effect. To put it simply, lock-in effect just like when all your friends use Facebook, you don't want to use WhatsApp, you don't want to use Snapchat, you don't want to use all the kinds of platform at all because all those people that you see are on in Facebook. So if all of us just depend only on one Facebook, on one social media, meaning that those social media will become just only like one more like monopoly, one of only the one platform, social platform in Cambodia. So this will, as you know that about the monopoly, right? So when there's monopoly, when there's no competition, we as a user is the one who suffer the most because no one can compete with Facebook. So we can we cannot, how can I say, have no choice in order to have another alternative social media in order to to communicate. Okay. So let's move to another slide. So platform owners are positioned to record to extract all data between different users. Imagine about Mark Zuckerberg as the owner of Facebook. So he's the one who record and extract all the data between us as a user and also another user or maybe another advertisement and another e-commerce or another seller in the Facebook. Okay. One thing that you need to remember that like Uber, Grab, Facebook, they are, how can I say, their business model is not what you see per se itself. Like for example, like Facebook, you may say that okay, this is the place for for people like for e-commerce in order to sell their products on Facebook live stream sale or something like that. But at the same time, Facebook also have another alternative business model. The model is to collect your data, your preference, your demographic characteristic are what Facebook collected in order to build or to sell those kinds of digital data to another third party, so they can earn money from that as well. So this is the way that the digital platform owner are the one who get the most value from digital economy. Okay. Even though I said that digital data is can somehow is what the platform owner collect in order to earn data, but those digital data in order to how can I say, to create the value, those digital data need to be leveraging as well. Or let's say that those digital data need to be analyzed, need to be used in the proper way in order to create the value for the platform owner. In the next slide, you will understand it more. Okay, digital data derived from different personal, social, and business activity that taking place on digital platforms. So whatever you post on your Facebook, whatever you post on your social media will become the digital data. And of course, it depends on the objective or purpose of the business model that the digital platform owner would like to use. Okay. So this definition from the information science literature describe data as a part of hierarchy which link to the informations and knowledge. And this hierarchy we divided into three. One is data are unfiltered. The symbol or signal for a variety of activity and input. And data through a range of transformations such as filtering, aggregation, and ordering of the data. Data can transform into the information, and those information can then be used to support people experience, skill, and thinking model, which contribute to knowledge. Okay. This one just is for data. What you ever posted, your preference, your like, when you visit the page, we call it the first one is a variety of activity of an input. However, in order to make use of data, those data need to be rearranged accordingly in order to transfer into the information, and those information will be used in order to support or to build another business model. This is the way that they, how can I say, they check the data or they arrange the data accordingly. Okay, now let's move to another one. The term big data has been popularized to denote the broader range of data that increasingly available to individual, firm, and society. Actually, big data is not happen during this industrial 4.0 or in the digital economy. We have big data before the verb big data have shown to us. Like for example, we have the data, but it's not that because of, how can I say, there's no platform to collect your data. Those data are scattered everywhere, so we cannot use the data in order to generate the value. Like for example, the books that we have read, and all the document or the research or something like that are the data. But because those data are analog, meaning that those data are not transformed into the digital data, so it is very hard for researchers as the policy maker in order to use the data in order to generate the value. Okay. So the verb big in big data can be defined along a number of axes. The one is about the volume of data available, for example, from online transactions, sensor devices. Another one is about the variety of data interpreted, combined with other data like video, like internet logs. And the third one is about velocity. Velocity is where the data is generated very rapidly, and sometimes it will refer to require real-time interpretation. Real-time interpretation, for example, we have one platform that one website or one platform that lists all the number of business or firm in Cambodia, right? But when every time that there's another new firm registered in the Ministry of E-commerce or other related ministry, those number will be automatically changed in the website. That we call it real-time data. It change according to the level. Okay. One of let's say that one of the main characteristics of data is non-reliable. Non-reliable here for like, for example, you have data related to the income of 10,000 households. So for if there are three group of researchers, and those one researcher use those data in order to analyze or to do some research, but those data are not, I mean, the second group and the third group still use those data, right? So they have no conflict between group one, number one, group research group number one, number two, number three, in order to do the data, because the data is non-reliable. I mean that it means that when one group use the data, I mean that those data will disappear or the value of those data will be decreased. So this is non-reliable. But if you talk about, like, for example, like, okay, so if like for example, you go to one store, just for example, there are 10 bottles of Coca-Cola, right? So if there are one people go to buy like 9 bottles of Coca-Cola, you have only 1 bottle left. So this is reward, meaning one person use of that will distract or will affect the another use of other person. Okay, data can take different forms. They can be picture, or they can be video, they can also raw material. And important dimensions of the data, especially personal data, that's an issue of privacy, because it's about the human right and about security of information. And normally, personal data have become a resource driving much economic activity online, because especially on e-commerce platform and e-business, because those data can be used in order to know about our price behavior or our behavior to do shopping. So the business owner, they can spot our preference and can build or change their business model accordingly. And the last point, if I'm not mistaken, we have talked about that. Your classmate have talked about that, about the data privacy. While all of us thinking about our privacy all the time, but whenever we log into a website and they ask about, okay, will you allow the cookie? For sure, we just, without thinking, we just, okay, click allow the cookie. We don't click reject the cookies, because we would like to see the information. And even we don't even care about to see watching what kinds of cookie, what kinds of information that they will be using in order to allow us to use their website. So at the time, so this means that at the same time we care about our privacy, about our online security, but we always give away our data free of charge. And in some website, you feel that, okay, the website is free of charge, we don't need to pay anything. But actually we pay. Our pay is our personal data, and those personal data will be used to sell in order to earn the profit for the website owner. Now let's move to another one. There's one research that they use that study about 25 countries, and those countries include Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Egypt, France, Germany, Great Britain, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Kenya, Mexico, Nigeria, Pakistan, Poland, Korea, Russia, South Africa, Sweden, Tunisia, Turkey, and the United States. Okay, among those, on average, you see that 78% of the internet users were at least somewhat concerned about their privacy online. But when they, how can I say, subset the data into look at the case of Kenya, Egypt, Hong Kong, India, and Mexico, we can see that in the case of ASIC Hong Kong, India, Mexico, and Nigeria, 90% of the internet user are more concerned about their privacy online. But if you see about the Kenya, just only the lowest level of concern was noted in Kenya. Just 44% of them just concerned about the privacy online. So if you see that, we can say that how can I say? In conclusion, those who are living in the least developing countries quite not concerned about the privacy data online. That's maybe because of many reasons. Maybe because of digital literacy, or maybe because yeah, partly because of that. Another one, maybe they have they don't care about it. So normally it is easier for the digital platform owner who operate the business in the country where the user has no concern about the privacy data. Okay, now let's move to another one. Okay, normally the development and policy implementation for implications of data collection and use depend greatly on the type of data involved. Okay, some data should not be instructed if it kind of affect your privacy rights. For example, our personal data, like for example our gender, our income. For some time people may also share the income, or other personal issue or sensitive issue. But some data, including health, well, for health data, it's very sensitive for some cases. But if it is used properly, health data can be used in order to do how can I say, to formulate the policy that support the public health in the country. But if it does not use wisely, health data can be exploited by how can I say, some personal platform, or let's say some private company, in order to exploit us, in order to sell their products. And for collection of personal data, it depends on different reasons. For example, like if we would like to do digital electronic know your customer, like some of you working in the bank know that. So if about the know your customer, meaning that us as a customer need to go to the bank in order to open the bank account, right? But for electronic know your customer, meaning that we don't need to go physically go to the bank. We can open it online by using our phone or something like that. So this meaning that it demands, in our case of Cambodia, it demands the Ministry of Interior, in Khmer Kasung Haptai, to open the data in order for the bank to see whether us, like for example, Mr. A would like to open a bank account, and the bank need to confirm whether Mr. A is really Mr. A or someone else just faking the account in order to open the bank account. So this is the reason why they said that the collection or the opening of the personal data, it depends on case by case. You cannot say that all of personal data need to be closed, or need to be, how can I say, very confidential. It depends on case by case. It depends on the some of kinds of the government of the two as well. Okay, now let's see. This is the whole new value chain that support the production of insight from the data. Okay, first is we need to have data production and acquisition, and then those data need to store it or in warehousing, just like in the data center that we studied in the previous session. And then those data need to be modeling and analysis, and at the end it need to be visualization in order to create the business model. Okay, digital intelligence. Okay, let me go back to this one first. Sorry. Okay, the outcome of this digital data value chain is the digital intelligence, because intelligence here refer to that the knowledge that you get, the knowledge or insight that you get from the digital data. Okay, digital intelligence can form two groups of, let's say, two group of stakeholders. The first one is firms and or the organization in their decision making and innovation effort. And the second one, the data can be used to improve the algorithm or the way that they solve the problem in the development of product, process, and services. Okay, digital intelligence in this sense can equal to digital capital. So digital intelligence can be, of course, can be become the value, because it can be used as a service or can be employed in the production processes. So digital, this is the reason why this is the reason why making the digital intelligence become digital capital. So digital intelligence can become digital capital because of four reasons. The first reason is about access to the large amount of relevant data. The second reason is about control over their uses. The third is about the mastery over processing and transforming data into digital intelligence. And the last one is about their application to productive processes. Okay, now let's move to the another slide. Let's talk about a type of transaction platform. So the economic value of the digital capital is generated through different forms of data monetization. And value creation arrives once data are transformed to digital intelligence and monetized through commercial use. And the commercial use is including the type of transaction platform that we use as one is advertising, which relies on the advertising revenue like Facebook and Twitter. This kind of platform will extract and store personal data and store the personal data for targeted advertising businesses. For the another platform, which is a part of transaction platform, is about e-commerce. It rely on advertising revenue, just like so Facebook here we can say that Facebook have like more than one type. One is advertising, because it depends on the advertisement, and another one is e-commerce, because it's also the place that people use how can I say launch their e-commerce platform on the Facebook as well. So this kind of platform will also extract and store personal data for targeted advertising businesses. Another platform is about the products. So it's aimed to take the traditional good and turn into renewable products. For example, how can I say for example, you have two bikes. I think in Cambodia we don't have this kinds of we didn't have this kind of transaction platform yet, but in the UK, in Australia, and in China, they have kinds of this kind of platform that we can rent a bike. For example, like you have two bicycles, you use only one bicycle, right? So another bicycle, you would like to rent it, so someone can come to rent it, and this is so that you can have the income from that. Okay, another one is cloud, as you have already known, is about the basic infrastructure like Alibaba Cloud or Amazon Web Services or OneDrive. Okay. Okay, if you look at the individual data, I always said let's say personal data, this is great value, but it's only we talk about only 1% of data. Like for example, in a work life we have 30 people, right? If there's only one, if you can take only one, your personal data from only one people, of course, it's no value as well. Only those data are compiled together into big volume of data. Those data can be analyzed in order to generate the more insight, or let's say the digital intelligence, to convert it into the digital capital. As I said, it is the capacity of the digital platform in order to aggregate, process, transmit, store, and analyze information of the data, allowing them to generate the value. Digital data, and okay, let's say that if we talk about digital data and digital platform, just like two sides of the same coin. Like without digital platform, we may not have a lot of kinds of digital data, and digital data, and without digital data, there's no goal as well for digital platform. So these are like, they depends on one another in order to go. Okay, now let's look at the role of each actor in data value chain that we have talked about digital data and digital platform. So this we can say that there's two main actors in data value chain that come which include platform user and consumer. Platform user refer for the Facebook refer to those who launch the e-commerce on the Facebook, and consumer as us as a user, normally user. And this us as a consumer as well as the e-commerce are the raw data producer. And platform owner like Mark Zuckerberg are the data collector, controller, and processor. Okay. As I have mentioned in previous lessons, and I don't remember which lesson, I will talk that data is data. You may say that what you think that is not the data may be perceived as a data for other people. And normally the data is just collected for the first stage. The platform owner may not know whether they would like to use those data or not. For example, like your age, your gender, maybe the platform owner just collect those data, but they have no other idea what those related to your gender and age will be used in the later stage. But from time to time, those your demographic or characteristic information can be used, in different kinds of model. For example, like age and gender. They will see that from the female user from age 25 to 30 years old would like to focus on the skincare, and the female user less than 25 years old maybe would like to focus on gaming or something like website related to gaming or something like that. So those kinds of information will be generated in order to generate or in order to sell to another third party who would like to know the preference or to like to know the market in Cambodia. What I would like you to remember is that because this ask is going to appear in the exam as well. You need to remember that in data creator and data capture may be different, very, very different. For us, we are the data producer. Let's say we are data creator, right? And platform owner is the data let's say the value capture. So we as the one who produce the data, normally we don't get anything. But only platform owner, those who collect the data, we get a profit from it. So that's the reason why I always encourage you as well my former classes not to share any personal data, or if possible don't log in, or if you can just log in as guest, it might be better for some website, because if you don't use it, that means quite regularly or just in 1 year, just log in as guest, because I mean that it's not the problem that we don't want to share our personal data in order to have more digital data to grow the digital economy, but because some of the platform owner will use our data without, I mean, much more in the worst way than we can imagine. And in Cambodia, up until now, we don't really have the, how can I say, the good data protection law regulations yet. So you will never know what they will use the data for, personal data for. So it is better for us to, in order to be more stingy, for to share our personal data. Okay, it's the last at the moment, as the data is considered as a new economic resources for value creation. It becomes relevant to look at who can capture the value from these resources. If you look at the Grab company's owner and the taxi driver for the Grab company, you ask who have captured more value in such kinds of platform economy, whether the Grab owner's company or the Grab taxi driver. Yep, for sure. Of course, you know that it's about Grab owner's company, just like Food Panda. Thinking whether it is about the Food Panda owners who is have the more value or profit in the market, or the seller who posts it online. Of course, Food Panda owner. So okay, of course, for sure, they are big company and they expect to earn more, to capture more. But you need to remember that what happens if those share of value are not, how can I fairly share in the market? And for fairly here, not like 50-50, but it's just not like, for example, the one who work for the company, app company, just get only like 5% of their profit, but the rest of the profit go to the owner. So if there's really unfair treatment in the market between the value creator, like app or Grab taxi driver, and the value capture, like the company itself, this kinds of digital platform or digital economy cannot be sustainable. Just like in the case of traditional economy as well. So there should be some kinds of the gap, closing the gap between the rich and the poor, between those who create the products, the consume the product, and those who control the market. Okay, now let's see the legal approach of the ownership of the data. This one we can say that there's many. We can say that there are three main approach. One is about common property. If we take the ownership of the data in the common property approach, it means that the adequate legal provisions and practical tool would be required to enable all entitled people, community, and business to access and use all such data on a core footing. For example, like in our class, we have the group 70 people. If all of the data is put into like common, if we take it as a legal approach, so every one of you they have in the group can use the data in your class in order to generate like some kinds of a business model. But if we treat the ownership of data in the private property, just like in your car, in your land, or in your your jewelry or something like that. So like in your case, like out of your 70 students, if this we take it their personal data are private property, like student A, we have no right in order to use student B data in order B, C, D, and the rest in order to generate the model. And if you look at another common and private legal rights, like for example, in SAM, send you the same example in your class, like you have your personal data, there's a range of information related to personal data, right? Like, of course, like your age and gender, maybe you can be used as a common property that, like, for example, your classmate can generate a model like, okay, my classmate, those who less than 25 years old, female, may would like to know, use the skincare, while those who more than 25 years old, for example, may one would like to focus on the baby product. But another personal data like your health issue or like your score or something like that is a private property. So your classmate, the rest of the classmate cannot use those in order to generate the profit or value from you without permission. Same thing to our data, digital data. So it depends on what kinds of the data that the government, or let's say the legal, from the legal aspect to think whether those data can be used, can be taken as a common property, private property, or in the mix in between. It depends on the user. Yes, I have mentioned about our personal data that we store in the Ministry of the Interior. So, and let's say and if you have known about online business registration in Cambodia, which is the website that you, business owner can register the company in the less time without without complicated process like before. So those out the personal data of the business owner are open only for the sake of online business registration, for only business registration only, and all the kinds of all the data that are not necessary for the business registration are still closed by Ministry of Interior. This is how the way that they use both common and private legal approach to protect the personal data of the citizen. Okay, now let's move to another session about the framework for assessing value in the digital economy, which will focus on the implication of data-driven economy. Another one is dimension of value in the digital economy. Okay, so as you may have already known that digital economy can bring a lot of opportunities like new kinds of jobs and new kinds of skills, something like that. But you need to remember that at the same time it can also provide uneven impact and negative spillover as well. But the negative spillover, as you have studied in the previous lesson, is something that it's indirect impact from certain activity. Okay, and the impact of digital economy can be considered across several dimensions with different actors as well as different components of the digital economy. And it doesn't mean that those who, and still the same concept again, I hope you still remember that. It doesn't mean that those who don't involve in digital economy will not get the negative impact from that. Because digital economy can have both positive and negative spillover effect. And up until now, we have our in Cambodia. I'm not sure whether in other countries, but in Cambodia, maybe because they are quite too new digital economy, there's no study that how digital economy affect those who did not involve in digital economy itself. Okay, if we look at in the developing countries, at the low where of firm, a growing digital economy does not automatically lead to expansion opportunities of local digital firm. This it's more likely about the major platform companies, just like in the case of Cambodia. If you remember the time that okay, see, Grab comes as well as Foodpanda.com, Pass App company, Pass App, yeah, Pass App and also Yan24 are almost, I mean, not almost, I mean, they are, during that time they had the hard time in order to survive in the market because, you know, big company like Foodpanda, like Grab, they always have promotion, they always have charge the user of us much less than our digital local company, because our local digital firm or startup you know, they don't have that much financial resources like the big company from other countries. So it is normally hard for developing countries in order to sustain their digital domestic local firm. And as some country, I don't remember the name, they have their own digital company. Yep, they say domestic company, but those domestic company either bankrupt after the big tech company come inside the country, or either or those domestic company were bought by those digital global digital company. And as the result, if those countries, including Cambodia, if we allow that kinds of digital global digital platform or company to, how can I say, to be on the market with our local digital firm, meaning that's been, I mean, for now that's fine. But in the future, because there are no competition, we will depend on those global company for, you know, for one generation to another generation, meaning that it will affect our economics as a whole. Because those money will be not be in Cambodia, invest in, you know, it will be their capital capital flow to other countries. Now let's see the impact of digital platform. So digital platform can reduce the extension cost compared to analog world. For example, um in the past, if you would like to open the closest store, you need to have your own physical store, right? Or if you would like to open, like, you know, the baby shop, you need to have physical baby shop. But nowadays, if you observe it, some shop which is promoted on Facebook, they don't have their own physical shop. They have the storehouse for sure, but they don't have physical shop as before. So if they don't need to have the physical shop, they don't need to spend money on renting the location to open a physical shop, right? So this is good for utilization cost. And for us as the individual, in the past, if we would like to buy something, we need to go to one shop. That's it, because we cannot. It's not easy for us to go from one shop to another shop and to compare the price, right? But nowadays, on the website, it is easy for us in order to compare the price, compare the quantity, because it's there. You don't need to, you know, to move even an inch in order to compare the price, the quote price, right? Okay, in terms of employment, digital platform can generate more job as it need more skill, especially for programming, for those who can write the program, can write the code. This is another the job that digital platform can okay, say can generate. Okay, now if you look at how digital economy, the impact of digital economy in developing world, we can say that, okay, of course, digital economy can create more jobs because it can need more skill and more human resources. But at the same time, you need to remember that digital economy, most of the time, they demand high skill job, like the one who can write the program, those who can who can know how to use AI and machine learning in order to analyze the big data. Those are high skilled job, and these are only those mostly those who can have that high skilled job, meaning that their standard of living is good already, right? Most of the time. And let's think those who lost the job because of digital economy, or those who don't get any impact from the digital economy. These are the drawback of digital economy in the developing world. At the same, of course, I mean, not only solely in developing countries, but in other countries as well. Okay, because of that, uh, there's some intervention from the government as well as the policy maker, but divided into two. One is they can promote other type of digital enabled productive activities such as low skill digital work. And another intervention is maybe they promoting the goal of IT enabled service and impact, outsourcing to provide job and learning opportunity. But those kind of intervention, there's no, how can I say, there's no what is study or research that claim that those intervention can somehow increase the opportunity for low income groups in order to get the profit from digital economy. Okay, now let's see another one. So from the government perspective, improvements in economic due to digitalization or in a digital economy could increase the higher tax revenue, because like for example in the past we all need to go to pay the tax in the tax department within our our regional area, our areas, right? But nowadays you can use the app in order to pay the tax. So it is a year 24. Of course, we always have no excuse not to pay the tax. And at the same time, the government also can also increase their service delivery through e-government. Like for example, nowadays the government don't need, the government can provide the business license by using the online registration platform, and the government can also use digital data that it can get in order to solve any society problems. For example, if we got the data of those who's always travel in which road or in which hours, the government can use many kind of intervention in order to avoid the traffic jams in those areas. But at the same time, those kinds of activities in the digital economy can also, like, give some drawbacks, but it can be divided into four. The first one is about the rising concentration and the market power of the global digital platform that I have mentioned. Because digital economy, you cannot ask the global company not to come to invest in your country, because it like meaning that the government stop the innovation in the country. But at the same time, is those kinds of global company come without any, how can I say, intervention to some extent from the government. Those kind of global company will kill the local startup or local firm. And another one is related to the job loss. As you may have known, like some automation or robotic can replace the job of some people, some job services, and we also lost because of the automation as well. And when there's more job loss, meaning that the income of people will be decreased, and also it may be divided the income or the gap or the rich between the gap between the rich and the poor in the country. Some country, especially some global platform, some global companies may take the chance that the government allow for tax exemption and use it in order to, how can I say, to take the benefit from the tax exemption from the government. And means in the previous slide you may get confused. Okay, you said that the government can get more tax, but now in this slide you said that the government will lose tax, because it's different perspective. One, because maybe one reason that the government may would like to increase more investment from abroad, because they have more technology, more skill knowledge that can teach our human resource in the country. So those companies will use it as the means in order to avoid the tax payment. So the government will look tax from this company, but at the same time, if the government use the proper develop the proper way to collect the tax, the government can increase the tax from our user, from the citizen. So this is another method. But we don't know yet which one is the tax from the global company and the tax from us have more value. So it depends. And the last one, as you have known, is about related to the concern about privacy. The more digital, more activity that operated online, meaning that more data will be generated online. When we say more data, meaning that, of course, that may be related to our personal data. So there is concern about that aspect. And for democracy, as you have up in the previous 2 lesson or something like that, we talk about the voting on the voting right. So digital, because of social media on the social media can somehow change the view of you or as well as your family toward any particular party because of the fake news or because of propaganda. So this can, as a result, can also affect the democracy process as well. Okay, now let's talk about uneven impact of digital economy. So this we can divide it into two mains, uneven impact. One is about the uneven impact between the country, like between the rich country and the poor country. Let's say between those countries that have high tech or those that have human resources, quality human resources in order to adopt, in order to innovate more modern technology or products, and those countries like developing countries that have no or have legal human resources, pure human resources, quality human resources to develop or innovate the services or products in the market. Okay, for between the country, this may be as as developing country may risk and like us may risk ending up in a data trap, meaning that we may be on, like I have said, those who produce the data may not be those who can capture more value of the data. We may produce a lot of data for those global company to earn money, but we ourselves we will not get anything at all. But within the country, of course, it may be between the digital platform owners and users and digital platform or worker or individual offering the product for through the platform, like for example, Uber company's owner and Uber, no, so not Uber, so we have no Uber in Cambodia. Grab company's owner and also Grab taxi driver, or maybe the digital platform as well as a local or small and medium enterprise in Cambodia in the country as well. So this is the uneven impact from hypermetro of digital economy or data-driven economy. Okay, if we talk about the way that dimension for analyzing the data, we will look into 4 ways. Okay, what is the distribution of value? Second one is the scope for upgrading. Second one is about the governance of value creation. And another one is value creation, value capture. This is the way that we analyze the data, whether we analyze the value of data in terms of the value distribution within the country, or whether the data can be used to upgrade something else, or maybe it can be related to how we govern those that value creation. And another one is about value creation and value capture. Okay, now look at the distribution of value. So economic production is typically fragmented through networks, supply chain, or ecosystem of the interconnected firm. The activity of more marginal firms in many developing countries are often considered to be a lower value like us. Thus, in order to examine the value itself, we should not only look at the end, how can I say, the high-end of the value chain, but we also need to examine the condition of value across the interconnected firm and worker, especially in the developing country as well, so that we don't do, so that we can grab all the distribution of value from the digital economy or data-driven economy. Okay, now let's look at to see this. Let's look at the scope for upgrading. Okay, to move from lower to higher value activities, strategically, not only for the company but for us as individual, we need to learn and improve ourselves from time to time. It means that in order now we may be the one who produce the data for the global company in order to earn money, but as the time went by, with our constant upgrading our knowledge and skill, one day we will also add the high-end value of value capture as well. In the positive term, if we look at like this, for example, low value activity in the digital economy may be as a means to end as for us to enter into the network or ecosystem of production, which providing the source of learning and technology access as well. For example, let's look at this. Nowadays, let's say that those who enjoy the digital economy, let's say the taxi driver for the Grab. So imagine if those people don't involved in those kinds of digital platform economy, don't involved in the Grab company, so they will not, the majority of them, of course, will not know how to use a Google Map, right? So if they don't voluntarily participate in this kind of job, they are not going to learn how to see the Google Map. So if they don't know how to with the Google Map, it's very hard for them to learn other new technologies as well. Now let's see the governance of value creation. So we'll be divided into two. One is the lead actor in value chains. And this one, I think we have talked in this, if I'm not mistaken, second or third session about the new firm and also the incumbent, or let's say the big company. So there are two kinds of value creation in digital economy. One is the big firm they will have a lot of data. Another one is the new actor, like take startup or platform company. They may not have a lot of data, but they have innovation idea. So when these two, if these two can work together in the, how can I say, in the compromise condition, this can lead to more value chains in a digital economy. But at the same time, we look at also what are the limiting conditions in order to governance the value creation. One is, okay, in terms of firm level, about the cost and skill and technology of the firm, whether they can involve in that this kind of value creation in digital economy depends on what their financial resources and depend on their current digital human resources. For in the personal level, like us, it depends on our preference, whether we would like to enjoy in the digital economy, whether we would like to use the Grab or we just would like to, get on the street and seeking for motor taxi driver or something like that. And it depends on many things for personal level like us. Okay, now let's see the value creation versus value capture. So you may see that, okay, it's a positive sign that there's a lot of taxi driver have you Grab, Pass app, or Tada in order to earn money, right? But at the same time, you need to ask also whether those taxi driver can enjoy the benefit, can somehow satisfy with what they have involved in the digital economy, whether it is fair or not for them in order, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes I'm not sure about now, but in the past, 1 or 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, I think Food Panda, they charge like 30% from shop or restaurant they list on their platform. So imagine, some shops are so small, and that 30% are they marginal profit from their business operation. What happens if those Food Panda take that 30%? Can they survive in the market or not? So it's feel like they are in the dilemma. If they don't put their shop or their restaurant on Food Panda, they cannot compete with their competition. They cannot reach out to consumer. But if they put on their shop on the Food Panda, the restaurant on Food Panda, they will lose their marginal profit. So it's somehow the dead ends of some of the restaurant. That's it. Just like the Grab driver, if they don't register their plate in Grab, it's not. I mean, some people like us will not, call them on the street, wait them on the street in order to go somewhere, right? But if they register their name on Grab, Grab will charge their services. Even when you, sorry, even when you, how can I say, when you call one pass app, one Grab, let's say you order one tuk tuk from Grab, and then you can set the Grab. So the Grab driver will lose 500 yen. 500 yen because the company will reduce in 500 yen. So see, without doing anything, the company get 500 yen. 500 yen for you, for us, it's small. But think how many Grab, how many service will be concerned. You multiply by 100 yen, and then you will see the profit that the company they don't do anything and still earn profit. Now let's move to another one. I will be fast this one because I would like to spend some time for your assignment. Okay, let's say go to channel for value creation in developing country. Will be divided into three. One is platformization, e-commerce platform, and digitalization of value chain. So the channel of value creation in developing country divided into three. One is platformization, everything is about the platform, and then e-commerce, and then the value chain digitalization. So in the past, you will see that the economy is just linear production from production and then to intermediate input and then to final product, right? So in the pipeline model, let's say there is the pipeline model or the traditional model. Goods and services are produced along a set of linear activity pushed to customers through a series of steps, which include material and intermediate input and final product, and then the end is the consumer. However, in the new business model, in the new economic model, you will see that the data is happening everywhere. That the platform owner will collect the data for data collection for consumer, and then they will process the data, and data will be analyzed, and when analyzed, those data will be monetization, like to get the insight what kinds of product is in the market, and those kinds of data will be used in order to decide what kinds of material, the quantity, the quality, and what they will use in order to produce the intermediate output and the final product for consumer. So in the new business model, it's about the data. So they use the data as the weight in order to decide which product or which business model in order suitable to launch in the market. Okay, now let's move to another one. Okay. If we talk about the platform, in general, like let's put Uber as an example, Grab as an example, and also Foodpanda or Yan24 as an example. So the power of this kind of platform, meaning that the platform owner does not have the asset, right? For example, if you are Uber, Grab, does Grab have tuk-tuk by themselves? Grab have the car by themselves? No, they don't have, right? If you think about Foodpanda, does Foodpanda own their shop by themselves, restaurant by themselves, or Yan24 own the restaurant or shop by themselves? No, right? So meaning that they don't need to have that in order. If you look at Amazon, does Amazon need to have their own produce their own book in order to sell? No. So this is like the power of platform business model. At the same time, platformization may give a good opportunity to developing countries where it is in the interest of platform owner to support the market entry into the other market as many small firm and end user as well, because some platform can be used in order to bring our small firm, small company, small firm into the market in the world. But at the same time, if those, like I have mentioned before, if those small firm, if those platform have generate the lock-in effect, at the end of the day, we are the one, the user as well as the law firm in our country, we suffer from that because it become monopoly. So when everything become monopoly, as you have known that when there's no competition, those who are, when we depend on only one company or one stakeholder, those people will try to get as benefit as possible because they are not afraid to those in the market because they are the only one in the market. Okay, now let's see about the e-commerce in the landscape of digital platform. So e-commerce is a part of digital platform, right? And here digital platform will be divided into two. This non-profit oriented digital platform, for example, like Wikipedia. Another one is profit oriented digital platform, like PayPay, like Alipay, like Visa or MasterCard. Even have about crowdfunding platform. It's about Kickstarter or Get Me Fund. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn are those in the digital platform, but divided into profit-oriented digital platform. An e-commerce platform is characterized under profit-oriented platform. Okay, e-commerce platform can be divided into two as well. One is e-commerce platform that created by the incumbent companies like IKEA, Zara, or Caterpillar. Another one is the third party, like go the e-commerce platform, like the one that listed on Lazada, Etsy, or Sock or something like that. So those e-commerce platform, especially third-party platform, will generate into service e-commerce platform. For example, if you look at like if you buy something product from the e-commerce on Facebook, right? So that e-commerce will need to deliver the products. So this kind of delivery product, meaning that those e-commerce we need to approach, or we need to connect the transportation or logistic or delivery company in order to deliver the product for you. So this is what we call a third party of e-commerce platform we generate related to another product as well. Okay, now let's see the change of two changes of digitalization on the existing product network. One is modularization, and the one is servitization. So this one, let's talk. If we talk about modularization, just like for example, like for the agriculture product. So in the past, if you go to the supermarket, you will not know what kinds of the salad or cucumber you buy are from which farmer, are from which province, or which, farmer association. But nowadays, in some supermarket, you can scan the code, and then you can trace back whether the product that you would like to buy are from which farmer, which province, of which farmer association. So this is we call modularization, meaning that the firm in value chain increasingly produce relatively standard components to build the test in the market. So for another one is servitization. That's the main set service. It's about the technology driving. I mean that it's about more about the use of the technology in order to provide you services of good, like Netflix. So in the past, you will need to go to the some shop in order to rent the cassette, video cassette or something like that in order to watch the film or drama or movie or something like that. But nowadays, with Netflix, this on you can watch anything free, anything on Netflix. With Spotify, you don't need to go to buy the cassette in order to listen to music. But now it just on the click of your hand on the app. So it's about the servitization. It's about providing the service, not the good anymore. Okay. Now let's see another one. It's not that hard to understand. Okay. So for conceptualizing the role of services in shifting value in the digital economy, the smart curve is illustrated here. So this is the smart curve, which is impact. So the impact of the digital economy in terms of a specific segment of production. Okay, so pre-production is about the software and data-driven services to inform new code and services, and in the production is about automation, and then about post-production is about a service that embedded in a software or enhanced after-sales services. So this is the way that the impact of digitalization have put in the value added for like I say the value chain of production from pre-production, production, and post-production. So the value added for the pre-production, the value added is for the software or data-driven services, like to determine what kinds of products should be produced. And then for the production, as you have already know about the automation, they use the robotic and automation in order to have in production to get it faster and more accurate. And post-production is about the service that embedded in product. If you remember about Tesla, so the Tesla, they don't only sell the car, but after sell the car, they will keep improving the product by using the service. As well as our Apple, our smartphone, always the software that updated in order for us to enhance our user experience. Okay, now let's move to the new part for value addition, structural transformation and development. Okay, if you look at in the past, the value addition is through digital industry or structural change like this, like from agriculture or natural resources to industry manufacturing and then to services. But in a digital economy, or let's say in the digital data economy, the value addition is through digitalization, meaning that the data is from, it's not linear anymore. The data can be used in different kinds of state. So the value can be added in the first stage and or in the second stage on the third stage, and there's a cross section as well. For example, in the past I said the value will be from one step to another step, but now because of the the technology, because the data change, so the production can skip from one stage to another stage. For example, in the past, because there's no platform, right? So the farmer need to sell the products to the middleman and or to the manufacturing industry, and then that middleman or manufacturing industry will produce the output for the end consumer. But nowadays, because of the digital platform, we can buy the product from the farmer itself, and we can do whatever with the product itself. So this is the way that digital technology, or let's say the platform, can play in the digital economy. Okay, that's the end. Do you have any question? Quello, actually.
No question, teacher.
Okay. If you have no question, I'm not sure. Okay. You want to have a break, or you want me to talk about our assignment first?
Assignment and break, teacher.
Okay. So okay, let me open the assignment first. Wait, please. Yeah. Okay. This is the take-home exam. Can you see it? Can you see it all? Okay. I hope you see it. Okay. This is the individual take-home exam. You need to answer all the questions. And in this exam, you can get as many as resources that you would like to read, as long as you cite it properly to avoid the plagiarism. And please use ABA style. Either you can use in the 7 edition or 6 or 7 edition. It's up to you, but you need to tell me in the writing that you use ABA style in the latest one, in the 7 or 6, so that it will be easy for me to mark accordingly. And the marking criteria content is 70% content of your writing. And if you properly cited the source of what you cite, is 15%, you will get 15%. And organization on the paper, like you have name, page number, and the way that you write is consistent, is good, and then you will get 15%. And the deadline is May 1st. I understand that you guys working as well studying, so I give you like 5 weeks, I believe, because we have a small vacation, right? So I think this 2 week easy. I mean, you can just finish it. And the deadline is 5 p.m. sir. So please don't be late. And this is there's only 2 questions. One is, what role can digital technology plays in achieving sustainable development goals? And explain with examples, and maximum 2,000 words. Of course, you can write less than that. And the second question, why do we need to consider the actor creating value are also those capturing value in the digital economy? As what I have mentioned earlier about the Grab taxi driver and the Grab company owner. So why do we need to think about those who what the value that these two actors will get, and what will play in if they what will happen if these two actors don't sell the value that we get a profit from digital economy openly? And what can policymakers do in order to reduce the gap in value capture between the rich and the poor in the digital economy? Okay, and this maximum word is 2,000 words. You can either write it in point, or you can write it in essay. It's all up to you. You have free choice as long as you answer the question. So any question for this one?
Teacher, again, choose only one question, right?
No, two. Two questions. So the total mark is 50 questions, 50 marks. And if it's individual work, we are not going to have midterm exam. Or you guys would like to have the midterm exam? That's fine.
No,
But I know, that's why I give you these two questions. And these two questions, if you really, I mean, if you really focus on it, you can finish it within 1 day or 2 days only. I'm not sure how many percent do you get from that midterm exam, but a lot, right? So you will have this one take home exam, and next week I will give you the group assignment to work. But I will try to be generous with the deadline. So I hope you can have enough time to do it, because now if how many? Let's say one, 2, 3, 5. You have like 5 weeks to do it. I believe you can have time to do it. And you, because this one, how can I say, it open question, and it's easy for you to search it online as well. So as long as you do it properly, say it so properly, you will get the score easily. And quite generous with the score, so you don't worry. So I think that within this time frame, you can finish it well in advance. And please, when you send me, please send in both Word and PDF file, because in Word file I can give you how can I say, comment or feedback, and but in PDF file, just in case, if some function or something like that, easy for me. Okay, any question for these questions? I will send it in the group, as well as I will upload it in the team as well. Any question for that? No? Are
No,
you sure?
teacher.
All is fine? Okay, if you don't know sustainable development, you can check, but I believe you know that, right? Like pretty, like, many things. If you don't the digital technology, you can choose like big data analytics or AI or blockchain technology or something that we study in the past. So you can just mention that with that, and just like you read, and then you summarize and put in other words. It's so simple for you guys. Okay, if you have no question, we can have a break like 10 minutes today only, okay? Because we have 2 more presentations today. Okay, see you in 7:40. So enjoy your break. Thank you. I will send this in the group now. Thank you, guys. See you in 7:40. Group number 1 and number 2, please be prepared in order to do the presentation. Thank you. Okay, welcome back everyone. I think, Group 1, are you ready to do the presentation? Hello? Okay, good.
Uh, please wait. Good evening, everyone. Uh, so my group will present the chapter value in the economy, and these are our group members. So here's a table of content, and I will briefly go through the first one. The first one is a drivers of value creation in digital economy. As you can see here, the traditional economic value has been closely associated with the production of goods and services. Uh, so in the sense, the defining economic value related to how outputs are produced. So output are produced in mean that this is the production. When they distribute, they distribute across the economy. So the distribution to economy, production and distribution, and when they distribute, they get the profit, so that they use the profit to reinvest in the capital, so that they can generate more income, and this is the process cycle that will come over and over. So this is the traditional economic value. However, in the new model of business, the new terms has emerged: digital economy value. So in the in this model, digital platforms are key actors in digital economy and data, the digital data.
Oh, slide doesn't move.
Could you see the slide move?
No.
No, no, no.
Now, you see, do you see the slide?
Can you click next slide? Can you put a slideshow? Yep. And then
Yep. Yep. Did you see it?
yeah, yes.
Okay. So let me go real quick. So the traditional economic value uh in has been defined as the production, where the output are put into the production, and they distribution to the economy, between they sell for the profit. When they get a profit, they use the profit to reinvestment in the capital, and the so the vicious circle come over and over again. So this is the traditional economic value. However, in the digital economy, this value has emerged, and the digital platforms are key actors in this digital economy, and data has become a key resource for economic processes that can lead to value creation. And the digital data right here creates two emerging forces: the platformization and monetization. And like decision discuss about the two fundamental elements, like through which digitalization is changing the functioning of the economy, like the digital platform and the digital data. And the analysis should be considered mainly as a stepping stone towards developing and enhance understanding how value may be created. So the the second slide here is talk about the digital platform. So digital platform has been defined by Parker, that has been most heavily cited as a business based on enabling value created interaction between an external producer and consumer. And the platform provides an open participative infrastructure for this interaction in set of governance condition for them. Or in so now that we know what it is, like the digital platform, we should understand that a platform has been categorized into two categories. They call transaction platforms, and the second one is innovation platforms. So on the first hand, the transaction platform that offer in an infrastructure that typically an online resource that support an exchange between a number of different parties. So these platforms are intermediaries, which in which they connect a different group of people. Like for example, like Meta, like people on the Meta have use the platform to connect with one another, like between user and user and user and consumer and customer and like producer on the platform. So they interact with one another, like this kind of platform. Uh, uh, like also on the Amazon, like people can interact and sell things too on there. So this is like the kind of platform that people use for interaction. And the innovation platforms, that this means that this terminology they highlight that a firm and industry or sector use a component or subsystem share across a product. So this platform are infrastructure that different side can build upon. Like for example, like Android, like Play Store or Google Store, like many software developer use this platform to create and share for innovation in the platform. Also, the GitHub too, like they may share source code or collaboration on source code for software development on that. So it's kind of two things that like interaction with one another. So despite all of this, like the digital platform, both platform, like digital platform survive in the current industrial revolution because of all of us here. Like because we give away our data and in exchange we use this platform to sell our interests. So it's like interdependent with one another. So this means that platform center businesses depend on our data to drive the economy, digital economy. So therefore, the growth of digital platforms as a result of technological development is linked with the increased capacity of data collection and analysis of digital data. So this is all for the first part. So let's move to the second part. Thank you.
So moving on to the next one is we're talking about the central role of data and digital intelligence in the digital economy. The data collection and analysis has already become a feature of the economic system, especially for firms, and they are using the data collection and analysis as a tool to conduct their regular business and use it for boosting their productivity inside their organization. And further, data-related activity has become a central feature of production, process, and key aspect to boost the economic activity. However, in this chapter, the author has pointed out the complex dimension of digital data as an economic resource with implication for trade and development. So the first one, we are going to talk about the complex nature of data. So according to information science and literature have described data as a part of hierarchy that link together between information and knowledge. And this hierarchy has point out three 3 points about the data. And so the first one is data are unfiltered symbol or signal from a variety of activity input. And second, through a range of transformation like filtering, aggregation, or ordering, those data can be transformed into information. Third, those information could use to support people experience, skill, or thinking model in which it contribute to the knowledge. And further, the author also raised one of the main characteristics of data is that they are non-rival in nature because those data can be reused, replicate multiple times without being exhausted. And on the other hand, um, one of the important dimension of data is personal data. So for many people have been raised concern over privacy issue. And as we know that in our present day, personal data has already become a resource that try and contribute to boost the economic activity online. And further with the expansion of the digital economy, it requires a trustful resource online. Moving on to the next slide. Um, uh, while there appear to be a concern about data privacy and cybersecurity around the world, then there is somewhat of data privacy paradox. So the data privacy paradox are for users continue to give away their personal data and their privacy in exchange for different services. And those services such as internet search, social media, and online reservation. And on the other hand, with the development and policy implication of data collection, on the other hand, with the development and policy implication of data collection and use depend greatly based on the type of data that involved. So data collection and selection is also very important because those data could be classified in different criteria such as to be defined that whether it is personal data or non-personal data, structure or non-structure, and so on. However, we can see that most policy, however, the author also point out that most policy discussion tend to focus only on a privacy issue, but data extraction and selection are not undertaken. However, the author believes that these two dimensions should be putting together between the privacy issue and data selection, and should not isolate any one of them because they are somehow linking together and have a connection toward one another. Next slide, please. So the second point is talking about the economic value of data, and those and under the second point, it has been divided into three fundamental small points such as the data value chain, data monetization, and the ownership of data. So the first one is the data value chain. So in this present day, the entirely new data value chain has evolved around firms that contribute to support the production of insight from data. And those include data acquisition, just by providing a new source of data, data storage, warehousing, data modeling analysis, and data visualization. Hence, the author also described the outcome of this value chain as data intelligence. So data intelligence can inform firm, and not only firm but the other organization in their decision making and innovation effort. And this data intelligence involves a certain centrality, such as abundance of machine or non-human intelligence. And further, data intelligence can be employed to various economic and non-economic ends. In economic terms, it can be a direct value as service or employed in productive process. So productivity in the digital economy is determined likely by the appropriate application of digital intelligence. Next slide, please. So moving on to the second point is data monetization. So the economic value of digital capital is generated through many forms of data monetization, and the value of digital capital arises from the data transform into data intelligence and then monetized through the commercial use. And the interest and behavior of digital platform is depend greatly on how they monetize those data to generate revenue. And they can monetize data transaction by this four broad platform, such as the first one is advertising platform, include Facebook, Google, and those platforms is rely significantly on advertising revenue. And this platform has a very strong incentive to extract and store personal data, which are key to their target advertising business. Second, e-commercial platform. So e-commercial platform, they offer the online market with a lower transaction cost for buyer and seller to come together. For instance, just like Amazon, Alibaba, eBay. The third one is product platform. So the product platform, they aim to take a traditional good and turn into a rentable service. For example, motorbike has taken the standard purchasing of a bike and transformed it into a rentable bike sharing service. And the last platform is cloud platform. Include firms like Alibaba, Cloud, Amazon, Web Service, Google Cloud Platform, and so on. They provide as a service with various hardware and software and a development tool needed in the data-driven economy. So, however, the author also mentioned that it is important to note that individual data are of little or no value. Value emerge when data are compiled in a large volume and processed to provide insight and enable data-driven decision by individual business, government, and the other organization. Next slide, please. So the last one is the ownership of data, and for the author already mentioned about how the importance of data and digital intelligence to digital and data intelligence to digital economy in both developed and developing country. So in traditional economy, property right in well-established market comprising producer and consumer strongly to define who is the beneficiary of the value of the corresponding good and service. However, with regard to the data, the situation is less clear. As it is difficult to establish the ownership of data. And the author also raised that the value of personal data is tied to the data subject or producer, and this cannot be sold. However, what matter more are the control, access, and right over the data. And under the current system, digital platforms are often the main collector of data and can therefore appropriate the values. And in the present day, individual right to data are beginning to be addressed more comprehensively. For example, in the context of the data protection regulation that is in the chapter 6. However, those data could also used to identify and target harm as a group or a community of people. On the other hand, some data has a strong common or public good aspect, such as traffic data from a ride-sharing application that could help the city authority with the management of traffic. So data could use in many ways, like in a good way and in a bad way. And yeah, so to sum up, economic right over data and digital intelligence may therefore require a sui generis framework that could enable data subject to individual or a group of people to control how data about them are being used, how their data are being used, and also they could license certain trust party to derive value from them in a manner to ensure that the interest of the data subject remain primary. So that's the end of my part. Please welcome for the next presenter.
So thank you, Bonane. So now I would like to continue from my part. So be a framework for assessing value in the digital economy. So this section will talk about the concept of the value in the digital economy to understand its potential impact on development, the outcome of a growing digital economy that are often uneven both within and between countries, and there can be different direct and indirect impact, both positive and negative. So here comes the first point, implications of the data-driven economy. So the growth of the economy can lead to many new economic opportunity. However, there can be uneven impact and negative spillover. And on the point one, impact can be considered across several dimensions such as productivity, GDP, value added, employment, income, and trade for different actors such as worker, MSME, platform, and government, and also for different component of the digital economy, component including the core digital sector, the digital economy, and the digitalized economy. So impact will vary by country and region. And the last point still be, I mean, individual firms and country will still be affected even if they do not or only take and only partially take part in a digital economy. For example, in digital enable sector, low-income workers may find themselves marginalized by more affected workers, or they may lose their job due to automation. So moving on to the next slide. Um, so the growth in the digital economy can also lead to the improvement in economic and social outcome. So which will be a force for innovations and productivity growth because platform will provide infrastructure that can enable more effective transactions, networking, and exchange of information. So here come the first point from a business perspective. The transformation lead to the productions of more and better goods and services. Um, because data and information can be useful for improving business process and increase access to market. Moreover, firm can better provide the needs for consumers. However, in developing country, at the level of the firm, a growing digital economy does not automatically lead to an expansion of opportunity for a local digital firm, because major platform and data provider that shape local digital economies are owned by large multinational enterprises, M&Es, or owned by digital firm operating from afar. Still local firm can emerge through digital ecosystem, which is the decentralized set of firm data and processes that are connected through their use of digital resources. In developing country, digital ecosystem are made up of local startups such as mobile app or service provider. Next, digital platform can reduce transactions costs compared to the analog world by creating digital market institutions and value the creating opportunity. And for individual, digital platform allow access to more variety and choice of goods and services at lower cost. Digital platform also provide convenience as well as customize or personalized products and services. In terms of employment, and expanding digital economy in the developing country can generate new high skill job. However, they generally provide fewer opportunity for low income groups. Another type of digitally enabled productive activity were promoted as the first step to participations in the digital economy, because some countries address the drawback of fewer opportunity for low-income groups. So policymakers in some developing countries are promoting the growth of IT-enabled services and impact outsources in order to provide jobs and learning opportunity. Next slide, please. So in this point, it's from the government perspective. Its improvement in economic activity result in higher tax revenue, and also they can induce greater efficiency in terms of service delivery through e-government. Additionally, there are benefits that include the use of data for development purposes and for solving society problems, such as those related to various SDGs. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, large set of data on soil characteristics are being mined to help determine fertilizer needs and increase productivity. Also, platform may also incorporate firms and actors into the digital economy by providing access to export market through e-commerce or cloud work, for example. And next, from what I have discussed, it is trying to give hints that the positive impact of the digital economy are not a given nor widely shared, because there are increasing concern about the risk it poses, such as the rising concentrations and market power of global digital platform and potential for a rent-seeking monopoly. So traditional brick and mortar sectors and small companies may suffer in the digitalization process. Therefore, digitalization can result of job losses in affected sectors. And from international perspective, there can be diverse and unclear impact on trade, depending, for example, on a country level of development, trade structure, and digital readiness. And here, a developing country may risk ending up in the data trap of the data value chains and will become dependent on global digital platforms. Finally, the goal for policymaker will be to maximize the potential positive impact of the digital economy and minimize the negative impacts. So next slide, it is the table Yeah, so this is the table of what I have already discussed earlier. It just in the table you will see it easier to understand. As you can see at the left-hand side, it's talk about the digital economy component. They have core digital sector, digital economy, and digitalized economy, um, and then you see the actors on the top. They discuss about individual MSMEs, multinational enterprises, and also government. And all of this that I have highlight is what I have just discussed earlier. So yeah, and that should be all for me. And I would like to give the floor to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you for the floor. So the next part is about the dimension of value in digital economy. So a useful approach for analyzing the value in digital economy is to distinguish into the four specific dimensions. So the first one, the distribution of value. Next, the scope of upgrading. Third one, the governance of value creation. And last but not least, the difference between the value creation and value capture. And this going to briefly explore in the next slide. So first point is about the distribution of value. So in the modern economy, the economic production is typically broken through the network supply chain or ecosystem for the interconnection firm, and value is dividing among a range of firm in the country at the different level of income. So in the digital economy, for example, an analyzing of the labor outcome has shown that the worker in the low value digital work and the digital ecosystem activity, they often hold an unstable and poorly paid position. So it was showing the involvement in the creating value. So if such the activity grow, they might be lead to the negative outcome at the economic one level. So this is the understanding of the distribution of the level that may serve a basic for consideration redistribution policy option. And for the second part is the scope for upgrading. So while the low value position may be associated with the limit production gain in the short term, the firm or individual might over time be able to dynamically upgrade, so it is not automatic. So in the digital economy, the low value activity may provide a means of entry into the network and ecosystem of production, which it will be turned that it would provide the source of learning, technology access, and also the better value over time. So, for example, there are some startups in the developing country that have also able to upgrade from the simple to high value added service provision, and therefore it is important to explore and also support the path for the processing and production improvement or innovation. So move on to the next slide. So the third point is about governance of the value creation. So the distribution of the value and dynamic of the upgrading are greatly affected by decision made by the most powerful lead actor in the value chain. So in the digital economy, the governance can be explored in terms of the older great firm in the digital life value chain, but it also a new actor such as the digital platform company, which it also the influence the scope for the upgrading. Thus the global power center of the government in the area of the digital economy tend to be the location in a few selection economy, and it also raising the potential concern for the policymaker about the reach and vision. So the last point is the value creation versus the capture. So it is important to recognize the difference between the value creation and addition and capture. So the concept of the value creation is highly relevant in digital economy. Firm and a worker is moving into the digital economy who are involved in online activity, and the firm and worker is they are often seen as they upgrading their skill. However, it is a problematic if the pool of the value they create is captured in some area. So For example, we have been lecture have been raising, yes, like the Grab driver can be an example, yes, and a low income taxi driver, for instance, they may be perceived as a advancing due to their use of app mapping and communication, but if they have their like the unfair relation with the platform firm, like the company given or paying the commission is not equally, this arrangement may not be desirable or sustainable in the long run. So that's all for my part, and I would give the floor to the next presenter.
Thank you, Thida. For this part, we talking about the platformization. So the platform economy, it is a business models that create value by facilitating exchange between two or more independent groups. And in these last 20 years, we have seen a large transformation in businesses that can be described as a shift from a traditional or pipeline model to a platform models. So if we look at the left part of the picture, the traditional or pipelines model operate like an assembly line, which can which each step they add value to deliver a final product to the customer. Each step extract a percentage that the value created. But the traditional understanding, like the law of supply and demand, is no longer applied in the platform economy, as the platform models its work in circular manner, and data and interaction are the main resource and source of value. For the platform economy, they provide a lot of opportunity for the developing country. For example, there are platforms such as Airbnb that they are currently doing hotel business without owning any property or inventory. Instead, they are the platform that provide opportunity for homeowners to meet with the renters and doing business together. With this, the Airbnb platform created value without adding traditional costs, and it can scale up faster and more efficient. Perhaps most importantly for the platform economy is that they create competitiveness in the economy, in the market, which is why it is a really good opportunity for developing country. And we have seen the rise of startup business that are platform economy. However, for the startup business in the developing country, they also face a lot of competition because there are large competition than the traditional businesses, because the size of the market in digital world seems to have no limit. And small platform in Cambodia, for example, they could face they could be competing with big e-commerce platform from other advanced countries such as the United States. That's the end of my part. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonita. So moving on to my part, it is about the new path of value additions on the structurals and transformations and development. So as we may know, economic development has traditionally been associated with the process of structural information, and this implies the value chains from the low productivity and its value added to the higher productivity and value added. And this can be seen and observed in this field that I've in that is in the diagram, which is related to agriculture, natural resource, as well as the industrialization and industry, and as well as the service. So um, this the digitalizations has added a new dimensions to this value and services. So it has emerged um, or take place of the agriculture services and industrial manufacturers into other dimension. So by seeing in this the digitalization actually added more value to the economy. um, so and it has two impacts on that. So it can be shifting the sector by decreasing the value of the sector and increase in the digitalized sector. On the other hand, if it may also add the value to the structures of the traditional sense without having to change at all. By doing so, it have the term of this sector have to do the transformations instead of replacing. It have to be like transformed instead. So by doing so, the value will be additional increase in terms of its productivity as well as services without having to replace in a traditional sense. So this may be particularly interested to those developing countries in which that wage more on agriculture and services that related um, to their economy. So overall, it is important to consider the potentials for value additions and development stemming both traditional structural change as well as the digital transformations. So moving on to the next slide about so this is the conclusion. So overall, this chapter has provided a concept of the basic for analyzing value creations to capture the digital economy, and it has divided into two dimensions, which is platformization as well as the growth reliance on digital data. So any assessments for implications for value creations and capture needs to be distinguished difference between the stakeholder as well as the different part of the digital economy. So digitalizations create opportunity as well as challenge from the perspective of the economy. So perspective of the economy as well as the country itself. So the net impacts for digital disruption is depends greatly on the development and the digital readiness of the country. So if the country has a very good policy and policy as well as an essential enforcement, so the digitalizations will influence and make a good change in the economy. And if they are not ready, it will be reversed in the reverse case. So that's it from our group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I know how many slides for group number 2, please?
Around 20 slides, including the contents and title.
How many slides? Again, please.
20 slides.
Are you sure you want to finish it today, or you can wait for the next week? 20.
Hello, lecturers. My apologies, but could we move to next week? I think due to time constraint.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe you can move to next week. So, because next week we have one guest lecture, maybe be in the second session. So in the first session, we will have group number 2. For this one, group number 3, we present the next chapter related to the measuring digital economy. I think it worked well, right? Okay, so group number 2, let's move to next week because it's almost time now. I think you are quite tired today. And yep, for those who are class monitor, please don't forget to remind those who are absent today to write me the reform, because in this meeting I've seen only 33 people, including me. So please ask them to write the reform, and if possible, please kindly drop me a message that you will be absent. It's much better than this. Okay, so next week, group number 2 will present and group number 3 will present as well, and I will send the slide. No, reading material for group number 3 to present. Okay, thank you so much for today's presentation and your participation, and see you next week. And next week, let me think. It's more about cyber. I think it's about blockchain technology. So you will have a lecture about blockchain technology. So please take the chance to ask any question as possible to the guest lecturer, so that you can understand well about the blockchain technology. Thank you, and have a nice dinner, and good night, everyone.
Goodbye.
Good night, Lake.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Les.